about that funky music, huh? Welcome to our first stream of 2022. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year from Play Games. Keith Avalone here. Sam is running the board as usual. Hope you had a good Christmas and maybe enjoyed some downtime in the week between Christmas and New Year's. We had a very gamey Christmas here at the Play HQ. I found Terraforming Mars and Tiny Epic Western under the tree. So we played a lot of Pokemon. Sam and I did the Pokeball. What's up?
Would you be able to scoot this way just a little bit?
Scoot this way?
Other way.
This way.
Towards me.
Ah, yes.
There we go.
All right. So as I was saying, it was a wonderful Christmas here. Played a lot of games. Our Pokeball 10, our 10th Pokeball is almost to completion. But it was really fun. And hope you had a similarly enjoyable holidays. And now it's time to look ahead at what's new in 22 for Play Games. And yes, if it looks like I'm reading from notes, it's because I am. It's just a kind of a habit from my radio days, putting everything in print before me. I've got a lot of information for you, and more than I could possibly just remember off the top of my head. So I've planned everything out, and let's just dive right in and get rolling with it. Let's start with Hoops. That's what everybody, I think, is most interested in, Hoops news. And we do have some big news in regard to the Play basketball game. We've made a switch of the lead games for Hoops. The game formerly known as History Maker Hoops Express will now be the main game called Highlight Maker Hoops. I'm going to hold the box up here. There's our... Oh, I covered my face. Well, I guess I really can't. Here it is. Anyway.
Hold it back.
I'll hold it back a little bit. Anyway, you get the idea. We're gonna have a video week dedicated to Hoops, but just wanted you to know right off the top of the bat, we've made a change to which game is going to be the main game. History Maker Hoops will be an expansion now. It's going to be like we got second season and second season Express. The idea was we'd have History Maker Hoops and History Maker Hoops Express, but the reality is that the Express game is really the main game. It's the one that's really the innovator. So for that reason, we made this switch. It's actually something I was thinking about. It wasn't a decision I made overnight. It's something that I sort of dwelled on. It kind of sort of came to me over the last 2-3 months of 2021. And, because I began to think about, the previous Play Games releases. Go back to 2010 and Hockey Blast, and when Hockey Blast came out, it was a completely different hockey game than what had come before. You had the lulls, you had the minute by minute action. It was a totally different way to play hockey. And then when we did in 2011, we introduced the NASCAR game, Red, White, and Blue Racing. Again, completely different from any other race car game where you were moving cars around a track. We went with the King of the Hill method. And then, of course, the baseball game. I mean, it doesn't get much different than History Maker Baseball in terms of what had come before. And the pattern just kind of continues. The golf game, completely different than any golf game that had come before. So it just sort of made sense. Well, the highlights game is the game that I really think is the most revolutionary, the most fun. I think what's really going to grab the hobby's attention. So it didn't make sense for me to have this full play game, which, by the way, is great. The full play game is awesome. It's like your classic full play basketball game. Takes 75 to 90 minutes to play. You're going to keep the complete stats, and probably most people are not going to have time to play it very much. So it just made sense. Let's just go with the highlights game, and that's the main game. It's an awesome game. We'll get more into that, but that is the main change. So we will do the pre-order for Highlight Maker Hoops pretty much as scheduled, and more on that in a second. The History Maker expansion for Highlight Maker Hoops will be released late summer or early fall. Now, why aren't we not releasing them both at the same time? Well, a couple of good reasons. First of all, we need a little more. Well, I want a little more play testing on the full play game. It's a 90-minute game with stats, and that takes time to play test. So I would like to get some more games under my belt before I put my "this is finished" stamp on it. The results we've been getting have been very, very good, but I feel like I would like to have a little bit more gameplay with a couple of different eras before I really put the finished stamp on it. The second thing is logistically, it's very difficult to have two new games out at the same time, and that's really what this is. These are two completely different games, completely different game engines, with completely different methodologies that use the same cards, the same player cards. And I don't mean to. I'm not really trying to brag here, but I really feel like the hoops game, or I should say games, really kind of represent the pinnacle of our sports game adventures here with Play Games. We started out with the goal of a fun, realistic, fast-playing hoops game that could be played in 40 minutes or less. And as anybody who's followed the saga knows, it took a lot of twists and turns and some dead ends and some detours. But in the end, success. The Highlight Maker game is pretty awesome, and it plays in about 15 minutes. So you can very, very plausibly play the first 3.5 quarters using the Highlight Makers game, and then switch to full play, which will take you about 12 minutes, 12, 13 minutes. Switch to the full play game, play out the last 5 minutes or the last 10 minutes, however many minutes you want to play, in, say, 15 or 20 minutes, and boom, you've got a 40-minute game and all the excitement of a full play game. Or you can just play the highlights game has been set up so that it's completely self-contained on its own, as is the full play game, but they both use the same exact player cards, which I think is pretty remarkable, and I think you will as well. So we have some, we have some innovations and things we want to talk about in the demo week. We're going to have a week devoted to hoops. We're calling it Hoopla 22 week, in homage to the Hoopla 2019 event that we held in Chicago, which kind of got the ball rolling on this. We're going to do that starting January 17th, MLK Day. We will have a Highlight Maker Hoops demo on the 17th, and then that's a Monday. Then on the Thursday night Play Space, we will demo the History Maker expansion, History Maker Hoops expansion bundle, so as it were. And then we'll do the pre-order for the Highlight Maker Hoops and the available card sets starting on the 21st. It'll be a very short pre-order window, very brief. It'll be the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Not like we're trying to cut anybody off, but we've done pre-orders in the past, and we pretty much know going to get a lot of orders on the first day, going to get about half as many on the second day, and on the third day it just kind of dribbles and drabbles, and there's really not much, and until like the final hour, and then we get some orders coming in at the last minute. So I think we'll just kind of cut to the chase. A 3-day pre-order window will work, January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And that will be for the Highlight Maker game, which I just held up and which we will show you Monday, and any and all available seasons. Here's the season available list for the pre-order. We'll have the 1964-65 season, the 1973-74 season, 85-86, 95-96, and then we'll have a fictional season, the 2022-23 Basketball League of America, otherwise known as, I think we're going to call it the BLAM, Basketball League of America. So we'll have those 5 card sets available, and you may be wondering, what about the 2020-21 season, with the Bucks, the champions? Aren't you going to offer that? Yes, that is going to be a free download with the game. The game will come with the 4 finalist printed teams for last season. The Bucks and the Suns and the Hawks and the Clippers. So those will be printed. You'll get a link with your game purchase for the download of the rest of the cards, and we will maintain that as the card set that comes with the game going forward after the debut. And then, yeah, I'm going to get to that. Sam's trying to tell me, you got to talk about such and such. I'm getting that. I wrote this all down. Okay. So I don't remember, and you were there. We reviewed this, so don't doubt me.
While I've got your attention, could you scoot back this way even just a little bit more?
Scoot back this way even more?
Even more, yeah. The camera's... Yeah, there we go. That's
all right. I feel like I'm not centered on the table,
centered.
though. All right. Hopefully this is just aesthetically more pleasing to everyone. Okay, so we'll also have these extras. We'll have the how-to guide available for purchase with the pre-order, and more on the how-to guide in a moment. And we'll also have a Highlight Maker Hoops playmat, which is super cool, and that will be available with the pre-order as well. We will take the pre-order, as I mentioned, January 21st to the 23rd. Pre-order delivery will be estimated end of March with an asterisk, and I will explain the asterisk shortly. Full release dates for Highlight Maker Hoops will be Friday, May 6th. That's all these dates are not etched in stone. It's what we're shooting for, though. Things can happen, especially as you continue to listen to this stream. You'll find that to be the case. But our estimated full release date for Highlight Maker Hoops will be Friday, May 6th. And it'll have the same card sets and extras as the pre-order. Nothing new added in May. Then Friday, September 23rd, we will release the History Maker expansion for Highlight Maker Hoops and the 2021-22 Pro Season, which is obviously still going on and will be finishing up in May sometime. That card set will be available in September. And we will also release a new Vintage Season, which we are leaning toward one, but we may switch to a different. So I'm just going to say Vintage Season to be announced. That's coming up on Friday, September 23rd. So that's the latest on Highlight Maker Hoops, and we won't spend any more time on that. Join us next week for the game demos and Hoopla.
The week after next week.
Yes, I'm sorry, the week after next. It's not next week. It's the week after next week for our Hoopla 22 event. Okay, here's the asterisk. You may have noticed on our website lately that some stuff's going out of stock. Card sets are not available anymore. We've had games go out of stock. What's up with that? What's the deal with that? We have had difficulties with our supply chain. We've expressed this privately to some people, and it's really kind of come to a head in the last couple of weeks. Over the holidays, we had one of our printers go down with COVID, and it really threw us for a loop. We had to kind of scramble to get all our stuff printed, and that was one of the reasons why we were really unable to offer a lot of printed card sets discounted for the holiday sale. We were able to bring some online late, but it wasn't really what we wanted to do because of that. But we also have had difficulties with our paper suppliers. If you talk to anybody that sells paper, you'll know that paper is in very short supply right now. It's very difficult to find it, and our perforated paper supplier particularly has had the problem of getting enough paper, plus also getting enough staff to perforate the paper. And the staff, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Bottom line is we have not been able to get acceptable quality perforated paper for the past month or so. And rather than print on stock that is just not acceptable, we're just not printing it. So baseball seasons are quickly running out of stock. Golf seasons, anything that uses the 18-up perforated stock is we just don't have any. And the worst part is we're not able to communicate with the company that provides us with it to get more. We got a shipment that was. I don't want to go into it. All I'm saying is we don't have any 18-up perforated stock right now, and I don't know when we'll be getting more. So we have had to consider some pretty drastic options over the past 6 weeks or so, and particularly in the past 2 weeks. And the solution we're going to go with is to bring our day-to-day printing and finishing in-house by leasing some high-end equipment from Konica Minolta. Now, if you were watching our Christmas party, we alluded to the fact that, man, you thought this year was big. Wait till you see next year. This is some pretty big stuff. I'm going to show you a picture of the brochure. These are the two pieces of equipment that we're going to be leasing. There is the BizHub C659 printer, otherwise known as the Fiery printer, and the Duplo DC618, which is a very high-end printing tool. You're not going to find this machine really in very many print shops even. It is a very specialized piece of equipment that does a lot of different things really well. It perforates, it slits, it cuts, it creases. It is a finishing machine. It takes printed materials and finishes them with very high precision. As such, it's not something you're going to find at Walmart or at Office Max. It's something that is it's not easy, nor is it inexpensive to acquire. But that is the route that we have opted to take for this. It's going to be a major difference in the way we do things. So a little primer on how we print card sets here. What we've done for the past 10 years, the past 20 years really, is we have ordered perforated stock, and then we will take that stock and we'll have it printed, have cards printed on the stock, and then we'll mail it. Well, it introduces two problems. First of all, the perforation that we get is high-speed perforation, which is sometimes off. And then the printing is also high-speed printing, which is also sometimes off. And so the combination of those two things makes every sheet an adventure, and we've often had to make qualitative decisions, and frankly, we don't always make the best decision. We try to all the time. We look at something and say, is this acceptable? Because it can never be perfect with this method. So that's the way we've done it for 20 years. Starting hopefully next month, we'll be doing it entirely differently. We'll be printing first on our high-end printer with a registration mark. This is just the way they do it, in big-time print operations, with a registration mark, and then we will line that up in the Duplo machine, which will perforate it precisely. Therefore, we should have, perfectly printed, perfectly perforated pages every time, which we'll have to do ourselves. It also allows us great flexibility going forward. For one thing, we can do full bleed cards, like what you saw, like for example the Continental League cards that you saw that we offered during the holiday sale. Those are great cards. They look beautiful, but the bottom line is those can't be printed on perforated paper because it'll be off a little bit, and the print on the perforations will look bad, and you'll get maybe a little bit of yellow where there should be red, and so on and so forth. But with this method, we should be able to do full bleed printing and perforation precisely using this technology. So that is what we're looking at going forward. It also allows us the opportunity to do cut cards. We can perforate, but we can also cut and trim cards as well. Now, of course, not to get into a long-winded discussion about the pros and cons of perforation, the pros and cons of cutting. Of course, cut cards are nice, but then they have to be collated. That sometimes presents a problem. Perforated cards are great for collating because if it's a 10-sheet set and you put all 10 sheets in there, that you got every card. You're not missing any cards. So that has its advantages too. But the bottom line is, going forward, we'll have options as to what we want to do and how we want to do it. So there's a lot of upside to this. Better control, better products, more control over finished products, more flexibility in creating new products. We've had many exciting discussions over the last couple weeks about stuff that we can do with this new machine. The downside, is a significant dollar investment. I think the bigger downside is a learning curve for us. We're total novices at this, and so Sam's going to be the print guy going forward, and he is going to take it upon himself to learn how to do this. And I have every confidence in him. He's great at this kind of stuff. And so, but as you can expect, there is going to be a learning curve, and I'm not entirely sure how soon we'll be able to be up and running to the point that we can say, yep, let's print that basketball game now. We are intending to print at least some of the components of the basketball game with this new technology because, frankly, I don't want to, order a bunch of perforated stock and have it delivered to us and it's not usable. Or I don't even want to have to make that decision of, is this good enough? We're just not going to do that. And again, I don't mean to dump on our perforated paper supplier. They've been fantastic for the last 19 years and 10 months, but things have gone wonky, and it's time for us, I think, to move in a new direction. Okay, so we're still in the pre-delivery stage in our negotiations with Konica Minolta, but they've told us they should be able to have everything in place by the end of the month, and then we'll have to learn it. Until then, we'll continue to go with the old route. We do have some stock available. We are hoping to get replacement stock for the 18-ups that were misperforated, and we should be good. We're just going to continue to do things as we have done them until we're ready to make the big leap to the big quantum leap to this new system. So that is the big news about the equipment upgrade. I'm going to take a sip of my tea and move to talking about Play.con 2022. We're going to continue with the new in 22 theme for our convention. We're going to have a new venue. I think we've already told you about that. It's larger, better situated. We have a new game that we'll be introducing. It'll be part of the swag bag, and we'll be utilizing it during the convention. Actually, two new games. We have History Maker Baseball Express, which we intend to have in the swag bag and run a tournament or a cooperative event. And we also have a new game that's based on Red, White, and Blue Racing. It's a head-to-head multiplayer game. We've been messing around with this idea of how can we get Red, White, and Blue Racing to be something you can play with multiple people, each competing against each other, without it being this big slog. And, we've talked about different ways to incorporate decision making into the traditional standard red, white, and blue racing race. But the bottom line is, the reality is you can't play a board game with 20 people. It just doesn't work. There's too many people playing. So you got to limit it to 4 or 5 tops. So this new game idea that we have, we're calling it Red, White, and Blue Turbo. And it's a head-to-head multiplayer game. We'll do a stream on it when it's a little more ready. Right now it's a pretty early development, but I think it's developed enough that I think we're going to be able to make that part of the swag bag and also make that part of our convention activities. We also have some new special guests that'll be showing up this year. First-time appearances. We'll have Rob Oren from Rob's Tabletop World has given us the green light. He is intending to be here. And S.T. Patrick from Sports Sim Magazine will be here. Both of them will be presenting a seminar. We usually have a designer showcase, like a special guest showcase on. Usually it's Saturday night. Sometimes it's Friday. We have it on one of the evenings where we just we do something common where everybody does it together, and then we split off into groups, and everybody does what they want to do with all these different options, and that will be one of the options this year. We'll also have our go-to guy, Steve Tower. I just reached out to Steve today. He's planning to come. And Al Wilson, of course, and the rest of the gang. We're all planning to be there. Right now, we are about at 2/3 capacity. We do have a larger venue, but it does have a capacity limit. So we're about at 2/3 capacity right now for Play.con 2022. It'll be we're saying it's July 29th and 30th, but really it will start on the 28th with the picnic, the pre-con picnic at Redstone Park. Thursday afternoon, and we may build on that and start even a little earlier than that with something. But more on that in the coming months. So that's Play.con 2022. Other things that are new in 22. Yes, there are more. We are planning to expand our Playmats. We've had a really good reception of the Playmats that we've done. Second Season Express has sold out a couple of times. And the Demo Derby Smashdown mat is done. People have really enjoyed that. And of course the Play Now mat. So we're gonna expand that. We're gonna do a red, white, and blue racing mat of our own. I know there are some homebrew variants out there. Some gamer created mats, images that you can send away to a third party to have made. We're just gonna save the step and offer that ourselves. Red, white, and blue racing. We're gonna do a soccer playmat, and obviously we already mentioned the basketball playmat. Eventually, we want to have a playmat for each play game. That's not going to happen this year. We're not going to be able to make that happen this year, but we do have that as in the back of our mind. We'd like to do a Cold Snap Express game mat. Frankly, Cold Snap is not the healthiest game in the Play Games catalog, but it has a small but very loyal following. So what we may do for that, because it's not that difficult to transform the Second Season Express mat into a Cold Snap Express mat, we may do a pre-order for that so that people who are interested in that, so we're not stuck with a bunch of mats that nobody wants, nor are we short and have to tell people they can't have one. So we may do a pre-order for that sometime this year for Cold Snap Express. We're also planning to do a how-to guide revamp. Right now the how-to guides are just stapled pieces of paper. They got all the necessary information. Excuse me. Sorry about that. They got the necessary information. They're nothing fancy. We'd like to make them a little bit more attractive. We'd like to make them bookletized with a nice color cover and staple binding, so you can look through it, keep it in your game box, and have it be a nice separate entity. The content, of course, won't be changing. Just a nicer presentation. And we're intending to do this presentation for the basketball how-to. The basketball how-to, this is our plan, will look different than the current how-tos. It'll be in the new format with the color cover and the bookletized. So look forward for that. We, of course, will need to get the red, white, and blue racing how-to guide done, and I'm debating whether to do a Bowl-O-Rama how-to guide. The Bowl-O-Rama how-to, it's difficult to explain in words, but we may have that as well. We also want to do a Play how-to guide cookbook, like the Play cookbook, where it's like all the how-to guides together in one book, so that you could just have the whole Play catalog. You basically don't need us anymore. You can just take this cookbook and you can just kind of excess off your list of places to visit because you'll be able to make all your card sets yourself. So that is also in the works for 2022. And what else? We want to do on the subject of how-to, guys, we're also thinking about strongly considering doing a Play Now how-to. That would be a compilation as well, where obviously some of the Play Now games don't necessarily lend themselves that well to a how-to guide, like Aviatrix 37. It's basically maybe we could tell you how to create new planes or something like that. Give you some of the design parameters for that, but there's not a lot really to tell you on how to make your own cards for Aviatrix 37. But Fury Hardball, that's a different story. Fury Football, same way. So some of the Play Now games, Demo Derby Smashdown, we could have a booklet with all the how-to information for Play Now games, and that is something we would like to do for 2022 as well. That's not on the list of we will be doing it. It's on the list of we would like to do that. Trying to keep this stream to just stuff that we are definitely doing, but I did want to sneak that in. We're also going to be doing a special Baseball America 10th anniversary set. It's the 10th anniversary of Baseball America. 2013 was the first season. 2022 will be the 10th season. And again, I go back to the Continental League set. We want to make a card set that is like the Continental League, except with of course, the Continental League is based on like the early 1960s Topps baseball cards. That's the look that we're trying to accomplish with that set. So the 2022 Baseball America cards would look like the 2022 Topps cards, or something very contemporary in terms of look. And we would intend to use our Duplo machine to be able to create this as a boxed set, where we would create the box and the cut cards, and it would be just like buying a box of baseball cards off the shelf at Target. It'd be just like that, and that would be our 10th anniversary season. Full color cards with all the player information, and we would for the 10th anniversary set, we would assign our own teams. We have team colors and team nicknames. It'd be like the Continental League in that regard, that we would choose our own cities. We'd have our own little baseball universe. It'd be very very finished. For those that don't quite want that much finish, we'll offer the standard black and white card set as well for the 2022 Baseball America card set. All right, so that is that. Mention Play Now. We're talking about doing the how-to guys. We're also going to do we've been promising the Roller Rumble reskin. That will happen this year. Probably we got it marked down for June release. The Dodgeball boxed game, Dodgeball World Tour, will come out in August, right after the convention. There will be a holiday game to be announced. And also a mild update of the Play Now page. They introduced some new technology. Between the time we launched Play Now and Play Classic, they introduced some new technology at Squarespace, and so the Play Now site is a little bit different than the Play Classic site, and we want to make them completely consistent with each other. So we'll be doing a mild update of the Play Now website sometime soon. Other events in 2022. We're going to Dice Tower West. That is in Las Vegas, March 4th and 5th. I don't have a lot written down here, but we are planning to, our goal in going there is to try to introduce our, Play Games world to people who might not be aware of it and who might be interested in something that's very, grassroots, very, spur of the moment. We have a lot of flexibility in our game design, and we have a really responsive community. And I think there are people who aren't aware of us that would like to get to know us. So that's our goal in going there. We talked about the business card games. We talked about our general strategy. I'm not going to go into too much more about it, but we are planning on making an impression in Vegas on March 4th and 5th. Now, the actual Dice Tower West convention starts on March 2nd. We're not going to be there for the first part of the week. We'll arrive Thursday and then be there for Friday and Saturday. Head back to Denver on Sunday. But we're very excited about it, and hoping to meet some new people. And of course, anybody that's in the area, lives in, maybe Arizona or California or somewhere in the vicinity, if you'd like to come visit us, that'd be super great. It's really we're actually really excited about all the other stuff that's going on at Dice Tower West. That we're one of us is going to man the booth, the other of us is going to go to one of these. They got some great seminars on game design and content creation, so we're really jazzed about it. And if you'd like to join us, that would be great. That's going to be March 4th and 5th in Vegas. Let's see. We're going to update the. I should have mentioned this when I talked about updating the Play Now site. We need to do an update of the Play.com webpage, not the Play Classic page, not the Play Now page, but the landing page for Play.com. It's looking pretty dated because it's the same site that I hand designed with my limited HTML skills about 6 or 7 years ago. So we're going to make it a priority to get that page out of there and replace it with something that is more compatible, more in line with the current Play Classic and Play Now pages. And that means we're going to change the focus of that. I mean, right now it's got all kinds of game information that you can surf if you want to. But we're going to just make it basically a hub where we'll direct people to either of the two sites, and they can do that by genre or by individual game. We may at some point, in fact, I think we will likely at some point move the blog to Play.com so that we can do blog posts about Play Now games as well as Play Classic games, and it'll all just be housed on the Play.com site. So it won't be an e-commerce site anymore. Well, it isn't now. It was in the past. It isn't now. But it will be just a WordPress site probably, or something similar where it's basically content. And I don't think we have an ETA on that, but it is on our list of things to do, and we'd like to do it sooner rather than later. That really is about it. Sometime this week we're going to have a new policies page on both the Play Classic and Play Now sites. It's boring stuff, but we do feel like we need to institute some definite policies on returns and there's a couple other things. I'm not going to go into here. Shipping policies, lost packages, things like that. So that will be added to the site probably later this week or first part of next week. And a few things new that some folks might not see as necessarily a plus, but we do. One of those things is we're going to go to in the interest of physical and mental health, we are going to go to a 5-day work week here at Play. For the past 20 years, it's been 6 or 7 days a week where we, we're up early Saturday morning and cranking out orders, and we're basically Saturday's another work day, and I have not regretted that. It's been a lot of fun, but I think we've reached a point. I've reached a point where I need to have that extra day off on the weekend. So we're going to run a Monday through Friday operation, and we may even close a little early on Friday afternoons, like at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So all that to say, if you place your order before 4 p.m. on Friday, or 3 p.m. on Friday, we'll ship it. But if you place it after 4 p.m. on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, it's going to ship on Monday. And, part of me really hates to do that because I love reading the emails where it says, I ordered on Saturday morning, and it's on my doorstep on Monday, because we got a really great postal hub here, and that happens all the time. We can get an order coming in Saturday morning and put it out, and it's at somebody's doorstep on Monday morning, which is super satisfying and super gratifying. But I think we've reached a point now where we need to forego that spiff in the name of a little bit extra rest and rejuvenation. It's going to be a very busy, in some ways a difficult year ahead, I think, but we're excited for the challenge. But that will be one of the things that we will be changing for 2022. That's new for 22 is we're going to do a Monday through Friday work week for Play. That's about all we can cover in one setting. How long has this stream gone on? Too long?
35 minutes.
35 minutes. Oh, my gosh. We do have other new things, believe it or not, that are less firmed up. I really kind of wanted to talk only about things that we're definitely doing new for 22, and 35 minutes worth, that's a lot of new stuff. A lot of the other new things we're talking about depend on how quickly and how well we can take advantage of the new finishing equipment that we have. So we'll give an update at some point about anything if and when it makes itself apparent on the production schedule. So that is about it. Thanks for watching our video on what's new in 22. Thanks for being part of this awesome community. Lots of times people talk about Play games. I was thinking about this as I was walking the dog 2 days ago. Talk about there's this discussion about Play games, about how it's the narrative. It's how it's the story, not just the stats. And of course, the stats are solid. We design the games. We don't ignore stats around here. We think stats are pretty important, but we're also very focused on the story. And so I would agree with that, but except I think that maybe really it's a different story that's really what's important. I was calculating the other day, how many people in this community have I met in person? over the past 10 years, particularly since 2009, we've really been doing like live events starting in 2012. And we did several a year for a while before COVID hit. And over the course of those years and doing conventions and other live events, like the thing in Kenosha a couple of years ago, I estimate that I've met about 500 Play gamers in person and shaken your hand and, spoken with you and maybe played a game with you. At least 500. And I have to say, our community is great. I love going to the Play Games page and the Play Now page and seeing people posting photos of their game setup and talking about their game exploits and interacting with other people. That is awesome. That's fantastic, and that counts as community. But I will say it doesn't count as community to the degree that meeting somebody in person, shaking their hand, maybe giving them a hug, and sitting down across the table from them and rolling a game, and you're talking about your job and you're talking about your family and I just scored a touchdown. I missed the extra point. And then you talk about your game catalog and the projects you're working on, and you know what? I used to live there too. I lived there for 3 years, and then I throw an interception. That back and forth. There's just nothing like that, and I feel like our community is really really excels in that department, and that I think is why I believe that is a reason for why we love each other so much, and so thank you for that. Thank you for being part of this awesome community that we have, and I hope to be able to meet more of you, in 2022. Just appreciate each of you and appreciate your encouragement and your support and your participation in our awesome Play Games community. Hope you'll join us next Monday, not Monday, but the Monday following next Monday, on the Play Games YouTube channel for our Hoopla 22 week, featuring our Highlight Maker Hoops demo, and then later on Thursday, our History Maker Hoops expansion demo, and we'll just be talking hoops all week that week, and hope you'll join us for that. In the meantime, between now and then, have a great couple of weeks, and we will see you soon. Good night, everybody.